Hi, pal.
What's
Hi,
up?
pal. I'm trying to embrace my oldness by using phrases of that generation.
Okay.
Hi, pal.
What's up, champ?
How's your day, Chief?
Welcome back to the Noonchi podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Oh, yeah.
It is getting hotter and hotter in Korea.
Sure is.
And I am dreading my electric bill at home because my AC is...
Well, how expensive does it get in the summer?
The most it's ever gotten was like $100 a month.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But given that I am unemployed,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like every dollar counts. So Bob, this weekend, or actually before this weekend, on Thursday, we went to our friend Sean Lake's birthday party. Sean, who was a guest on the Noonchi podcast.
He was, yeah.
Yes.
Sean came on.
And then basically on that episode,
we talked about stand-up comedy.
Yeah, which shouldn't have been the case. But he, he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So he had his birthday party at Moro Coco Cafe. Have you ever been?
I have been.
Yes. Yes. It is. I haven't been in many years.
Yeah.
And the food was still good.
It was, it was all like he rented the whole restaurant out all night. And it was like buffet style.
Yeah.
So you go get it yourself. Even so, it was good.
Yeah.
Like usually, they went all out. They even had the lamb legs.
Yes.
Or the lamb shanks.
Yes,
like,
lamb shanks.
Like, and it wasn't like petite size or like.
I was like, damn, these are big motherfucking lambs.
Yeah.
The food was good. I came after doing the show, and then you were there earlier. And lots of interesting, good people we met there.
Lots of cool people. Every time Sean has a get together, he doesn't often do it for his birthday, but I do remember the last time he did was maybe 3 years ago. And that was when Libertine was still open.
Right.
And I remember there were stories from that too. On Thursday, it was in Haebangchon, and he got there at 6 apparently. I got there 8 o'clock, I would say.
Yeah.
And then I ran into some cool people. There was Mark Teto.
Yes.
Was there. We saw Clinton was there, Henry's brother. Mm-hmm. Now we're name dropping, right?
Yeah, totally name dropping.
A lot of other cool people were there. But there was one particular person that kind of stood out. And it was first time officially meeting.
Right.
We Top from Big Bang.
Yes.
Yeah. We saw Top, and I was just expecting him to be just make an appearance and leave. But he was there from the beginning to the very, very end.
Yeah. And unfortunately for me, I have preconceived notions about all idol members.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To some degree,
they're media trained, they're blah, 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 blah. So unless they're really comfortable, they're just going to be, typical, just kind of boy band answers. Yeah.
Or just try to I figured he would not want to be in a crowd with a lot of people he doesn't know.
Right.
And just, it'd be easy and understandable if he just decided to bounce.
Right.
But he's close to Sean, so came out for his birthday. Super nice guy. Really, really impressed with just him. No pretentious attitude or air about him.
Yeah. He was. I was like, oh, he's not a dick. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's it's unfortunate that I have that notion that either you're a dick or you're just super not fun and you're not going to engage.
Yeah.
But he was a cool dude.
Cool, yeah. And he stayed till the end. We left around 2 o'clock, I would say, something like that. Really cool guy. I don't want to go into too many details about what we talked about. We talked about some funny stuff. But one funny thing, because we were talking about New York, how I'm from New York, and he was saying the last time he was there, he thought he was gonna get jumped, like he's in K-Town, and he's like at 2-3 in the morning, he couldn't believe it. Every restaurant was open.
Right.
Everything is open and it's lively and stuff. And he said he had heard someone say, "Hey, it's top," but like in a very aggressive way. Like, you know, like most people when you recognize them, they're excited and like they want to say hi, get a selfie.
Yeah.
But they were apparently the air was like, what's this guy doing in New York kind of thing, you know? And he felt like danger, like he had to get out of there.
Like, how can you say, "Hey, that's top," in to mean like, "Yo, let's fuck this fool up," like with those words, "Hey, it's top," right? Because you know it's usually like, "Hey, that's top." That doesn't seem
like a New Yorker would be like, "Yo, just look over there at that table. It's that guy. It's that guy from The Big Bang." Like, what's he doing here? Kind of like, but you know, everyone in New York, you know, K-Town.
You're no longer a New Yorker, man. That accent.
Yo, no. Oh, I'm not using a New York accent. I'm not using anything. But they're like, at 3 in the morning. You've been in K-Town 3 in the morning. It is aggressive. People, fights happen all the time around that time, right? So he wasn't wrong, you know. And there are people that get starstruck in New York, but then there are people that are too cool for school. Like, I don't know. So I totally get it. I totally why would feel like intimidated. Yeah, he was a cool guy. It was basically open bar. I mean, it was BYOB. So everyone brought a lot of wine, a lot of whiskey, bottles of like tequila. You brought a bottle of tequila. I brought a bottle of bourbon. And little by little, it was just like all disappearing. At one point, I think Clinton bought a bottle of Johnny Blue.
Yeah, there was a lot of booze being imbibed. The thing of, like, Clinton, I know I met him before, but then he apparently did 28 days of a water fast.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So he was starting to eat like normal food, but he can't just go from like that kind of fast. I mean, all right, I'm gonna eat fried chicken the next day.
Go into smoothies and stuff.
So I remember like he was like, "Yo, the food here is bomb," and I look at what he's eating. And he's just eating vegetables, right?
And the hummus.
Yeah, and I was like, I just met you today, bro. But if you ever just eat only vegetables and tell me that this is bomb, I'm gonna judge you, man. He's like, no. I just got off a water diet or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, well, he has his own Taiwanese cafe in Rodeo, right? Him and his brothers.
Yes, we've been there.
Yeah, which is really good, and they're known for the beef noodle soup.
Right.
So he's just happened, like, you don't just jump back into like lamb shank on your right. So
no, I mean I totally get it. Like I many years ago, when the cayenne pepper lemon whatever detox diet was a fad. Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, same here. The master cleanse.
Yeah. And then after like a week of doing it, the next day, I ate KFC.
Oh, you went back? Oh, that's rough, man.
And my stomach went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was a good time. Happy birthday to our buddy Sean.
It was great. I love that restaurant, but I remember when I lived in Gyeongnidan, they started off as a Moroccan sandwich place, which is still there, Casablanca's. And then they opened Morocco Cafe across the street a little while after that. But I used to go there once a week just for the sandwiches, which made me remember Moroccan sandwiches. It used to be a big thing in Itaewon on the street.
Simon, right?
Yeah, Simon. Right. And then there was another guy that parked up next to them.
I told the owner about it. I said the first time I came to Korea to visit when you moved, I had one of them greasy ass Moroccan sandwiches on the street, on the truck. And I was like, yo, this, and clearly I think one factor of it was because I was drunk, but it was amazing drunk food.
I mean, I've never had it not drunk because they only came out at night.
Right. So, I mean, you know, like there are foods that like, you go, oh my, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then you step back and be like, but I've never had it sober. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but I remember it being fucking delicious, right? And then when I moved here, you were like, hey, there's this Moroccan sandwich joint in Haebangchon.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting from that experience up there, but it's a different sandwich altogether.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not as greasy and oily and cheesy and whatever, right? So, but it's still a solid sandwich. But then when I went to Morocco Cafe, I was like, yo, this is my so, you know, like when I first moved here, like I was on one of them Paleo diets.
So where it's kind of like the carnivore diet, right?
It's kind of like eat food that was available during caveman days.
Oh, okay.
Right. So no bread, no noodles, no rice really. But then they had rice. So like, you know, I told myself, all right, we're in Korea. At least one meal of rice, one bowl of rice is accepted.
Okay.
So I would go there. And just eat the chicken and the whatever.
Yeah.
And it was my go-to spot. It was great, man. It was good times. And now they seems like they're doing okay because they expanded. From the small joint. So Moro Coco Cafe, they're not a paid sponsor, but
I didn't know you could rent it out like for a whole evening. But that was pretty cool that we had the whole restaurant. But we ended up, it was such a nice night out. We just ended up, you know, taking over we're just, you know, using the balcony or the outdoor area.
The veranda.
Yeah.
The peranda.
So it was really nice and cool, like kind of a perfect night. Just to be out. And then afterwards, the night kept going, right? I actually went with you guys to Icha, but I couldn't stay.
We went to a karaoke joint.
Just a norebang. Right?
But not, we didn't call any girls or whatever because there was girls with us.
Right, it was okay.
Right. But it was interesting because it was the first time I saw this. Like we had to ask for the mics and people because we were gonna sing, right?
Yeah.
And so 3 people came in.
Yeah.
And then they looked like they were going to fix the music or the audio. I wanted
to talk about this,
right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was 2 girls and 1 guy.
Yeah.
Right. And then she goes, "Oh, this is just, you know, like audio
mic setting.
Like we're checking to see if the mics are okay."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like the first one starts singing, and we're like, "Oh, he's good." And then the
really
guy
good.
sings, and then the finale was the girl who sang Ailey's song, right?
Yeah.
With more power, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Wow, this is a very interesting way of checking to see mic check." Right?
But it was like a free concert. Right. They were so talented. I was just kind of like, wow. Like, it's impressive enough to have one person come in and like just belt out a tune like that. But 3 of them came in. I had a feeling they probably went room to room to set up all the mics for each room. Yeah,
because usually, I mean, look. My assumption, and I'm not. This is just me assuming that place is more known to bring girls in, like homies,
okay,
you know. But because if it was a super regular norebang, then all the equipment is
most norebangs they don't do mic settings.
So meaning
that's why I was like. Kind of like really shocked.
So they had to like open up a partition underneath the TV, and then they're fiddling around with some shit because usually when you call tomies, nobody's really singing, right? You know what I mean? You just turn on music and make the lights a little darker. But then, so I was like, oh shit, 3 of them came, right?
Yeah.
And I forget what songs they were singing, but yeah, I remember only the last one. But they were all different styles, different voices, and they were all. But apparently, like, those types of joints always have like 1 or 2 of those people.
Oh, that can just belt out a song.
Yeah.
I had this like feeling like they were probably trainees.
A lot of them are like, they're aspiring musicians, like whether it's like they're in a 소속사 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
because we tip them.
Yeah.
I noticed it's probably customary to tip them.
Yes.
So that's like a part-time job. They're probably getting they're getting to sing in front of people.
Yeah.
In some way sort of like pay their dues in front of an audience, I guess, like not your typical audience, but they get to sing in front of people they don't know. And then they get to get tipped or paid.
Right.
So that's kind of a cool gig. Until they finally get discovered or whatnot. I'm sure. I wonder if there's any stories of people getting discovered in that fashion.
I mean, I don't know what their stories are like, but I've heard that it's kind of like the last resort.
Oh, really?
So like your contract ran out. You no longer, they don't want you in the 소속사.
Oh.
So you're a former. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's kind of like. Nobody wants to be a wedding singer.
Oh yeah,
but then you just become a wedding singer. You know what I mean?
I guess you wouldn't typically do this kind of work in the beginning of it.
Yeah, of course not.
Okay, that would make sense if it's kind of like a last resort.
Yeah.
That makes me.
It's sad. like the when professional athletes like like for soccer, it's like either England or Spain or Italy, maybe even France. Those are like the major countries, major leagues. But then, they'll have like baseball, MLB, NBA, they're all in the US. But then, sometimes you'll see former basketball players go to
other leagues,
like Tony, it was the NBA first, then he wants to play in Europe. And then after that, it's like, everywhere else. Right. So, but to me, I was shocked, and it was good times. I don't like going to norebangs for singing.
Yeah, same here.
Because I'm like I don't.
I just for me it's like a waste of money.
Yeah.
Like I can especially when I was doing music full time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find myself like at a norebang and we're spending a lot of money on booze and just time. And I'm just like, why are we paying money to do this? Like, I'm trying to make money doing this.
Yeah.
Though, for a birthday, I'm always down for it. Like, I wish I could have stayed longer, but it was really late and I should have been home, to be honest.
And that's why I gave you the look, like after Moro Coco Cafe, I was like, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're like, we should go Icha, and then we're going to Norebang.
Yeah.
Right. And then I gave you the look like, I'm going home. You should probably too, kind of look.
Yeah, I felt like, because there was one person there that came late.
Yeah.
That wanted me to go. Right. But it was almost like it felt like a security blanket kind of thing, where they didn't want to go alone. And so I was like, maybe I'll just go, make sure things are okay. Like, the good thing about that night was I didn't really see any messy drunks.
Yeah. Everyone
was pretty cool. They can hold their liquor.
Yeah.
So overall, it was a fun night. I had to go to work. I had to work the next day. I was a little sluggish, but it just felt good to be at birthday parties again. I know I technically had a birthday party too for my birthday, but this was the first time I went out for someone else's birthday, now that COVID, all the restrictions are lifted. Because there were a few that I didn't end up going to during the time. But it's always a good way to catch up with people and meet new, interesting people. And I'm looking forward to more of that.
Did you know that I think it's called the Dumbar Number or something like that, where the maximum amount of people that you can know in your life in terms of their face and their names is very limited.
Okay.
Right? So like for example, like you would have 50 friends that you would consider friends, and then maybe like 15 like close ones.
Yeah.
And then like maybe like 1,000 people that you have, like 1,500 that you know by name. You might even have their phone number.
Acquaintances.
Yeah. So like that's it. You know what I mean? But it's not like an infinite amount of. So
I think I've hit that number.
Yeah, me too.
A while ago.
That's why what happens is then what that means is that people that are in your acquaintance list needs to drop off. Yeah. For you to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, given that like for me, like I have to meet every weekend, I'm seeing new people.
Yeah.
And then they come up to me. And then a lot of times I'm like, hey man, like I'm not going to, unless something not extraordinary, but something memorable.
Yeah, I mean,
happens, right?
You know yourself best, and now that you're getting older, you understand how much energy you can put into acquaintances.
But you know, like with, I think for both me and you, fuck how much energy we can and cannot put. We need to put in energy for like certain jobs don't require you to put energy to get to know people, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But then our jobs do, right?
Yeah.
So like to me, it's like, all right, well, here we go. Like, but you know, I mean, even this past Thursday Friday, like 4 dudes sat in the back of the comedy club, right? And I was like, why are 4 dudes coming together to see comedy, right? And they're all like one dude's like he looks like kind of like an MMA fighter.
Okay.
But you know,
it was a full show and they were sitting in the back, or there was just like
half full, right?
Half full and in the back. Okay.
And you know, like I look at what what they ordered. You know what I mean? I'm from stage, and they ordered a bottle. I'm all right, cool, and then a few like juice, and then afterwards, you know, they like the big guy goes, oh my God, it was really good. I'm like, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. He goes, can I buy everybody a drink? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, you know, because me, I'm part owner. So I'm just like, yeah, motherfucker, like, buy it. So he buys like another bottle of vodka.
Nice.
For the table. And then he orders 6 juice. And I was like, yeah. So then, you know, obviously.
Just after the show?
Yeah, after the show. So now we have to put this, you know.
Yeah, people together.
What is the joy for me to speak to 4 grown-ass men? There was no absolutely like to me that's like boo, right?
Without being pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Like just that's all the information going into it.
Sure. Yeah. And then you sit there and you're just like, all right, well, there's 4 dudes. There's, you know, like, well, all right, whatever, right?
Yeah.
They spent good money. So we put like 2 tables together. We all sit together. I go, what do you do, man? He's like, oh, I run an art gallery in Seongsu-dong. I was like, you don't judge a book by its cover, but your ass looks like you fight motherfuckers. Right? And then there was like the other dudes, and then apparently there's like some sort of like they have some sort of like group, like a group chat of people from various, like, you know, I don't want to say walks of life, but like, yeah, you know, like, so that guy next to him, he's a investor in blockchain.
Okay.
Like, you know, another guy, he's like a music guy, and then this guy, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, oh, you all do different shit. He's like, yeah. And how did you guys meet? He's like, oh, I met him when we were in Australia. I know you speak English. He's like, no, the fuck you go to Australia for then, right? And then, you know, but then the thing was like, you know, I don't remember any of their names.
Okay.
The one dude that I know, he followed the guy who looks like a fighter.
Yeah.
He followed me on Instagram. So then now I have his Instagram handle,
cool.
which is not his real name. So I'm gonna be like, all right. And so again, like,
yeah,
they seem like nice guys, but
it sounds exhausting to me. Like, because I know how the networking thing works, right? Like for for however long I did music and lived in LA, and then when I moved here to do music, like networking is very necessary.
Yeah.
Right. It's exhausting though. So for me, working a day job and sort of taking myself out of that, like I do miss aspects of it. Like I said, like going to birthday parties and meeting like interesting people.
Right.
But none of it is for networking. Like that's not for like in the past, it would have been like, oh, you're in entertainment or you're in music. Oh, is it okay if we stay in touch? Because I'm in music too. But like at Sean's birthday party, we met a lot of people in music, you know, and I had no intention of like keeping in touch with these people, you know. In the past, I would have, you know. So like when Top's music producer, Jack, right?
Yeah.
Was like, you should come by the studio. In the past, I would have been like, hell yeah, you know, like I still want to go. I want to check out the studio, of course, but it's not like first thing Monday morning. Like normally I would have been like, hey, so let's set that up. Can I come by sometime? You know, like I could check it out. But
not
like,
even it was nice to meet you. Hey, about that.
Oh, I haven't hit him up, you know, but maybe I should follow up just for the
man. Your fucking networking game stinks.
Yeah, but you know, I don't want to bother them. Like I rather like bump into him another time and just be like, oh, hey, sorry I never hit you up after, but you know, I have a life, I have kids, and I have a different life now, kind of thing, and be like, this time let me actually stop by. I really do want to stop by, you know, but I'm not like an opportunist. Like I don't want to come off as an opportunist. Like I have that kind of. And yeah, it's not an opportunity that I feel like I need to jump at.
Yeah.
You know? So, though it would be cool to see a studio. I'm always down to see a studio, and he has really cool gear, actually, that I'd like to see. But I don't, it's not on my priority list. I have a lot of other things to do before I can get permission from my wife to go, like, check out, like, music studios and stuff like that. But... anyway, like we were talking earlier, let's move. I want to change the subject.
I hate the way you say to get permission from. You know what I mean?
Well, even that night, I had to get permission to go out. And then she did me a solid and didn't. I usually get the text around 10:30.
Right.
Like, where are you?
Right.
Like, because she's worried I'm not going to get a cab. Right. It's hard to get cabs these days. So she actually didn't text me till 1:30, which is understandable. Honestly, I should have been home by 10:30, you know, but I was having such a good night, such a good time. I had some booze in me, and it was like sitting well with me. I think I pushed it a little too much.
Man, you definitely have. I know you go, hey, Danny, you should get married too, or have kids.
I don't know.
You know,
different now.
The way you pitch it to me, like you've pitched it to me a lot. I was like, the picture you're painting makes me just want to find someone in my latter years to be able to wipe my ass when I can.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. So I'm not painting the best picture.
Yeah. And dude, right. I know I love your wife. She's great, you know? But the way you pick, I was like, God damn it. It irks me every time you say stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to talk about your show. I want to talk about Youngie's show.
So yeah, this past Saturday, I opened for Kim Youngie. It was her third time running her hour for the third time. And it was a packed house and
full. It was sold out.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was filled.
Okay.
Not sold out. The week before, and I talked about how another opener got on and ate shit on stage. So I presumed that it was because they had not enough
experience
in terms of dealing with this crowd, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll open. Because Youngie was, Opa, can you open for me? Everyone else is eating shit. I was like, all right, I'll try to open. I'll open for you. Yeah, sure. So I get there, packed house, and I go, all right. So for me, there are a handful of bits that the success rate, so to speak, is 100%, or like I'm batting like 990. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? You know, like
people always laugh when you tell these bits.
Super, super high, whatever. So, you know, to just try to loosen them up, right?
Yeah.
The first 3 jokes, barely a laugh.
Okay.
And I went, like, for a hot second, I was like, am I doing this in English or something? And they're not understanding? Like, what? Like, it confused me, right? And then, like, you know, I slowly got into like, I'm kind of annoyed mode. So that's when I went into like
busting on the audience.
No, just like I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make this more uncomfortable for you.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just got a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
And like even some of the dirty stuff, like 1,000 batting average, right?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh
like I was, you know, to a point where I was like, in my mind, I was like, wow, the AC in the back is kind of loud because I could hear it, you know?
Oh man.
And I went, oh, so, you know, a part of me believes that maybe I was a little too arrogant, you know?
Well, I mean, everyone's done cricket shows, right?
I haven't done something like that in maybe 4 years, you know?
Did Youngie do well?
Yeah.
She did well.
Yeah.
Last time she did well too, when the other opener ate shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it's kind of like they're there to see her.
Yeah.
And maybe the attitude is like, all right, like we're there, we're here to see her. Like you know what I mean?
I'm curious to know if they've ever seen her do stand up. Or if they're just fans of her.
They're just fans. I think it's more of that, right? So so they're not used to the culture of stand-up comedy or the whatever. But irregardless, you know, I think personally, instead of just chalking it up to, well, you know, those are her fans, like these shows won't happen again. I don't think that's the right attitude. I think that we as everybody else needs to figure out, when this type of audience comes, what's the best way to combat it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's just homework for us, really. Because I sat there and like after me eating a fat one, you know what I mean? Ooh, I ate it, and I went. Yeah. So I just sat there. So I sat in the green room, and me and Tonga we're talking. Like, I go, that was strange. You know what I mean? That was a strange feeling. And you know what's funny is because like, to them, to the audience, that those 80 people, like, oh, that motherfucker's not funny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to feel that. Like, you know what I mean? That's not a good move, right? So, and I could see it in.
How do you reconcile that?
No, because here's the thing. Like, there was one Nuna that comes, like, she's been to like about 5 of our shows, right? So she knows Youngie, she knows me, she knows Tonga, right? And so she brings a crowd. So she'll bring like 8 people, right? And then I saw her, I could see her.
Yeah.
Right? All the other 8, puniki was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But then she knows the bit I'm telling. And then I can see her look around to be like, what the fuck is going on?
She joined the mob. Like, right? She basically
because it's I mean, well, you know, like if you know, laughter is contagious, but silence is also contagious too, right? So I see her looking around to see like, yo, why aren't people laughing?
Yeah.
And then like the people that she brought, one of them saw me last month. And then she looked at me and was like, that was really strange. I was like, yeah. But everybody else, they just know me as, that motherfucker's not funny, right? So I go, look, I lost them. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, you know, but like my thought is, how do we, you know, like, what's the move to even make this show not suck, right? And I don't know, man. I mean, like, I've been thinking about it because
it's time to take the data and look at it and analyze it and then see.
No, because the thing is, like, one thing's for sure, I can spoot because people that are people that are only used to the old slapstick Korean stuff, you can't make jokes like
out of left field. It's all out of left field.
You can't make it too, like, the punchline. You can't turn the handle too hard. You know what I mean?
You almost, like, I remember you guys used to have the host say, has anyone here not seen stand-up comedy before? It's like, let me tell you what it is. And it's this, and you're supposed to laugh, like, kind of thing. You almost need to go back to basics.
But like, he did that.
Oh, he did that.
But then I saw I realized is that, like, what we came up with is that the only way I can explain it is, like, the mechanics of comedy, setup, punchline, is the same in terms of sketch comedy or slapstick shit or those stuff that you see on TV in Korea. But the punchline, if I see it in stand-up comedy, for the most part, when you do the punchline, you turn the wheel hard right, hard left, right? When I see it on TV in Korea, they don't turn it hard right or hard left. They turn it just slightly.
Okay.
Right? You know, so it's not left field at all.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Obviously, it's the punchline, the wheel is turned enough so that the audience can't predict what's coming, but not as hard, you know? And I go, oh, okay. So I don't know. I mean, is it a matter of me spoon feeding the audience, you know, the punchline? You know?
Maybe there's like a new kind of set that you have on hand all the time where it's like, you say, 여러분, this is what you call 동사ing on stage, like, and this is what's happening right now.
And a part of me, I said it on stage. I was like, you know what's interesting to me, ladies and gentlemen? I've done this joke at least 150 times. This is the first time none of you idiots got it.
You see, I like, even though you bombed, right? Like, I love that you're telling the story, and I love that you said that. Like some things are worth it in the long run.
Yeah, no. I mean, like, you know, but obviously a bomb never feels good, right? But it was a strange one because, like, I can't pinpoint it at, did I, like, was I telling the jokes wrong? You know what I mean? Like, was it they can't hear? What was it? You know what I mean? Was it that, like, the crowd wasn't paying attention?
I've gone through this with when early on when I did shows. And I always invited as many friends as possible to fill the place, right? And what I realized after a while was those shows were the most most talkative crowds. Like, they would talk while I'm performing. And I just had to get used to that too. And I remember just thinking, all right, it's very chatty in here. You can hear everything while you're singing up there or performing. And you know it's all your friends talking.
Right.
And really, the heart of the matter is your friends are there to support you, but also they're not necessarily fans of your music. Right. So they don't know. There are some people there that actually are fans of the music and know the songs word by word. They're waiting for their favorite song to be sung. But your friends have none of that for the most part, right? They're just there to support, and they're not really into the music. And so they know it's okay to be chatty and talk, because most of the places I play, you're allowed to talk and have a drink, and you know, the music is in the background to some extent. So I used to think, all right, the way to deal with this is, you know, some shows I'm just gonna let it. For a long time, I didn't invite friends. Like, I just put up my shows, and advertise the shows and just hope that more fans would come.
Right.
But then it's like this whole thing, like it depends on the situation. Like the more people, the better. If it's an intimate show, then I almost want to tell friends not to come. If they're like, "Hey, Bobby, can you put me on the list for the show?" And I know it's a small show. I'm just like, I think we're almost at capacity.
Yeah.
You know, I'll almost kind of like discourage it. Depends on the kind of person and the kind of crowd they're going to bring with them.
And they're not good friends if they automatically want to be put on a list.
I mean, they're still good friends. Yeah, but I know what you're saying. That's your definition. I'm like, none of my close friends go, "Hey, can you put me on the list?" It's me going, "Hey, when's your show? And I want to check it out." If it's me offering versus them asking for the list, two different things, I think. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, so for me, as I'm bombing, I'm thinking about this one comedian. I forgot his name, but he started off a bit going like, you know, when you see tennis players and they hit the ball wrong, goes out like off and shit. They always look at their racket, blaming the fucking
the spokes.
They they fuck around with the wire or whatever. You know?
Yeah,
and then then they start playing again, or they'll switch off rackets. Right? You can't do that with stand-up comedy, right?
Yeah,
you can't like. This is how we set it up. Let's say I tell a joke and it doesn't go well. He doesn't look like looking at the mic, right?
Yeah.
And then people laughed at it. Kind of weird, right? Yeah. And then he goes in the middle of a set, like one of his punchlines fucking swings and misses, right? And he goes, right? And I was like, oh, I wish
That's funny.
I was like, I wish I had something set up
like a bit like that,
right? Where like just like just to like what do you call it? The ejection. You know what I mean?
You should. You know how you should set that up. So you know how in Korea they still have those toilets where you have to kneel. The ones on the ground, right? You should talk about that in some aspect and be like, I can't believe Korea still has those, but every now and then I'm forced to use it, and it's the whole dongsa thing, right? And you be like, and then you can tell them, hey, there's a phrase in comedy like bombing in the US, but in Korea it doesn't work out that way. So it's better to say you're dongsaing on a stage. And you can be like, it's really uncomfortable for the audience to see me dongsang. And it's uncomfortable for me too, because I have to kneel down and do this shit, right? And you show them, I'm like on the ground, like it's really uncomfortable, right? And the next time you bomb on a joke, you go to that same spot and then you kneel down and you just don't say anything. You just like pretend that you're shitting on stage. How about that?
How about you let me do my job the way I want to do
it? I knew you were going. I'm just thinking off the top of my head as not a stand-up comedian. Just trying to be helpful.
That's right underneath asshole level of, oh, you should use that as a joke. That's the top asshole move.
Yeah.
And then the other one is suggestions like, hey, so like...
You should throw on an R&B song every now and then, Bobby. Like people like R&B, like, okay.
That's right underneath that. That's right underneath that, what you just did. And I just let you continue.
I know, I saw you, the twinkle in your eye.
I just continue to, you are dongsang right now. And I let you do it. I continue to do that. But no, I mean, like I have a show, I have another hour. I'm running my hour set again this week. And so,
and you know why I'm going?
It woke me up.
I'm going this week. Like I thought about it. I was like, I went to Danny's last hour show and you killed it. And it was great. And I got surprised with new bits. And I'm like, maybe I don't have to go to the second one. Yeah. But then I convinced myself, no, I have to go to the show.
Why?
Because lightning don't hit twice. Lightning don't strike twice. So and I love seeing you bomb. It's like this extra, like I get this.
Wait, like in your lifetime, how many times have you how many times have you seen me like legit eat shit?
I've seen you eat shit maybe it's not often, but maybe like 3 or 4 times. Yeah. But
in Korea? In Korean?
In English. Yeah. Definitely the English shows. Those things, but it's always never your fault. It's always the audience. Yeah. It's like, it's always awkward and it's at a bar and half the people aren't paying attention. And it's kind of like, this is uncomfortable. Like Danny's bombing not on his own accord. Because, you know, like you could like slip up and you can't recover from it. Right. But I've rarely seen you do that. But I feel like it's coming and I don't want to miss it.
Because, you know, like bombing for 10, 15 minutes, not so bad. Bombing for an hour, ooh, that takes.
Because like I even like
some guts.
Fantasize about it, like where it's just like, for an hour, like you have to get through it, right? And so at some point, I want to be part of the show. Will I just be like, yell something in Korean, like something along the lines like "똥 싸고 있네," you know, just for audience participation.
Well, the new manager of Seoul Comedy Club, he is a high-ranking jiu-jitsu black belt. So I'm gonna be like, choke that motherfucker out. And he speaks English, so I'll be like, yo, go choke that motherfucker out.
Dude, I was listening to an old episode of Joe Rogan this morning because I didn't realize I was looking through his episodes and he did an interview with Adam Duritz of Counting Crows. And, you know, I used to listen to Counting Crows a lot, you know, but what really kept me engaged was he was talking about music, of course, how he got into songwriting and all that's like great and all that's interesting to me. But he happens to be a huge fan of comedy as well. And so I haven't gotten through the whole episode. It was just like, I listened to like 30 minutes of it on the way to work. But he was saying he's really close to a lot of comedians like Jeff Ross and a bunch of guys. So they used to do shows together. They used to bring Adam on with him, like as a
musical guest or?
Yeah, so like they would do these tours. And they'd be like, hey, Adam, you want to come with us on this tour? Like, just do like a set in the middle of like just some songs. He plays piano. So, and he was saying like, he only plays piano on some songs because he could just know some chords and they're very mopey songs. So he would always come in and sing sad songs during the middle of this thing. So he often found himself having to come up with banter that's basically come up with jokes too, because he's on a stand-up comedy tour. Right. And it made me feel like, wow, that's kind of like how I feel, you know, and we've talked about this, where in Korea, I was opening an act for a lot of artists and it always worked in my favor to be funny on stage. Yeah. You know, and then there's something that he said, he had like performed at the Friars Club, amongst a bunch of comedians. He just happened to go up one time because Jeff was like being honored for something. And he said he wanted to thank Adam for being there. And like for some reason, he was a little drunk or something. So he went up on stage and he ended up doing like 2 minutes of stand-up. Like he didn't really have bits, but he just like accumulated stuff, I guess, on those like tours. And he killed it. For like 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, you know? And he came off stage and he was looking at Jeff, like Jeff had to take the mic back. And Jeff was like, it's like crack, right? Yeah. Like getting the laughter from people. Yeah. Like, and that's like, I will never know what a stand-up comedian gets from like roaring laughter, right? I can only assume. Like, and try to contextualize it to what I feel when I get applause from music. Right. You know, but like when people laugh at my jokes, it is very satisfying. And I'm always wondering if Jeff Ross, like, if he's not off the mark. Like Is it addicting?
I am continually chasing that high.
Okay. So it is like,
high, but the thing is that there are, you know, we talked about this a handful of times about like, oh, you feel great after a good show, but then like right afterwards or on the way home, like it comes crashing down. It's like kind of like your serotonin levels are all the way down and you're fucking depressed almost. But there are some times when the reaction is like memorably good, where like not even every word, but like every expression's hitting, like every facial, every movement's hitting, like where like everything is just cackling, and you really feel that energy, and you're like, and in my life I probably felt it like maybe 5 times. Okay, like I've done well a handful of times or a lot of times, but like that type of like, oh shit. Yeah. And would you say that's what you're chasing, those 5? Yeah, absolutely. You know, and so like even the Korean comedians say, and you weren't there for my first ever Korean set, right? Mm-hmm. But the people that were there say that the energy in that room, they have never felt it ever since, ever, by anybody that has done stand-up. But that's one of the days. Yeah. Wow, it wasn't even an English set. Yeah, it was one of the Korean sets. Yeah. That was probably the only time in Korean I felt that pop. Would your first time when you went to Inglewood, was it? Or when you did that? That was the same feeling. That same feeling. That was another time. Yeah. That's why I knew after that first time in Korean, I was like, fuck, I'm fucked. I'm fucked because I was like, I have to be here to do this. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Like, because you would be a little bit crazy to have to do what you've done in the last 4 or 5 years without having something to chase. Right. And so that makes a lot of sense then. Yeah, it's a drug, man. I hope you get it again. Like that's something to root for. But you know, like the idea of, and I can't speak for like obviously like the great ones, right? Like the great comics, because you know they kill often. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say I kill, but I do fairly well the majority of the time in Korean, or fairly well. But then that extra like that addiction, like real like oh shit, where you can see that I've unlocked shit in people's minds, not because it was deep or whatever, but like that I go, oh, all right. Like in terms of the first set in Korean, I think it was partly because and it's still the narrative of stand-up comedy in Korea is that it doesn't work in Korea. Yeah. You know what I mean? Culturally, it doesn't work. That. No, but even those kids who started the scene, they only did it twice. Right? So they weren't even doing it for a month. They've done it twice when I saw them. And then there was a third time when I went up. So they brought all their 개그맨 선배s, and you know, because they're like, hey, there's some kid in America, there's some dude from America coming. So they all came in with, let's see what this guy got. And I fucked all those fools up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not fucked them up in terms of making fun of them, but I made them believe that, oh, this is possible. It does work. Yeah. And the kids that had doubt when they started, they all were like, they don't know about money, but they knew that this was possible. Dang. I can't wait to see this documentary. Like one day, I hope this thing goes the way I'm hoping it does, and it all blows up. This documentary, there's got to be a documentary about one day, and you talk about these early days, and you know this thing that you're chasing I think it's a very important aspect of that story. Yeah. I wonder if those kids on some level that are in it with you, if they're chasing the same thing or if they're chasing something different. They never killed it as hard as I have, except maybe 1 or 2 people I've seen go, oh, they know what that is. You know what I mean? One of the kids who I think is you know, him, there's 2 kids that if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on to say that they would be the top of the scene in terms of skill. one of the kids, he was suicidal. He got discharged from the army because of that type of attitude.
Okay.
And just depressed, suicidal, blah, blah. But he always watched stand-up comedy in English. And he was like, I want to do that shit. And, he's very unique kid, right? In terms of, his stand-up, the way his mind works. And then I remember one time, because the guys who started the scene, they come from a background of, they have years of programming and training about what comedy is from the 방송국 side.
Yeah.
Which hinders stand-up comedy.
It's a different road.
Right.
Yeah.
So so this kid in the beginning started bombing, and they're like, don't do it this way. And I was like, yo, leave him alone. Like, that's not the reason why this is not working right now. And then one day he got up on stage, told the same jokes, but something, I saw it in his demeanor was different.
Yeah.
And he fucking ripped that motherfucker up.
Yeah,
right?
This is just like running.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked about this before, but like in running too, like you can go the same distance. Right. Let's say it's just a mile. But you get a different experience from it if your form is right or wrong. If you're running with terrible form for an hour, you can hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Like I literally have hurt myself. Once I figured out that form is everything, like a mile wasn't enough. I was addicted. Like I started running 10 miles and 20 miles. And ultimately then I did that San Diego to LA run, which is over 100 miles, right? Once you fix your form, basically is what we're talking about. Once you know and you're in the groove, you know exactly where to step, how to land, all that stuff. The sky's the limit. Like you can, So it's very encouraging to hear these anecdotes.
But but that kid, you know what I mean? After he killed, like he fucking crushed, and the guys who told him not to do it this way couldn't talk to him no more.
Oh, really?
Right? About, hey, like, I think they did, because they never killed it like that.
Right.
On stage, doing stand-up.
Right.
But this kid now, he's not suicidal. You know what I mean? He's like, I've even talked to his mom, who is grateful for stand-up comedy.
Damn, that's fucking awesome.
To like give her son like some sort of reason to live, so to speak, right?
That's awesome.
But like seeing him, like I've seen another person like really crush, like, and like crush don't, like killing doesn't mean like just everybody's laughing loud. Like it's a different, I can't explain it. You feel it to your core as you're in this audience. You're like, something different's happening here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe you're getting. Like everyone just ha laughing versus like it's almost cultish. So
as someone in the audience, it's like we're giving you the keys to take us on this tour.
Yeah.
Like, and you're the driver, right? But then like we know when you're taking us in the right, and we finally, to a certain extent, we're like clenching cheeks, or like we're just kind of like, and then there's a moment when you just let go and let the comedian drive, and just take you wherever you're gonna go, and those are the best experiences as an audience member. I've seen you do that. I've been there when you've done that. I've seen these guys that have come up with you in Korea, like have more confidence, learn to grow, have grown in many ways. So like, it's exciting for me to be around that. Like, I miss it like in the music world, but like I can take away from it what I have from seeing you do what you do. And damn, man, I'm really like, we've gone an hour, but I almost want to just end it on this high note, because like I'm so like feeling positive right now. Like I feel like super encouraged I think this is very important. Like, I really believe that stand-up comedy, for as much as I wanted it to blow up in Korea, I think it's beyond that. It needs to. If it's bringing healing into people's lives and giving them out, who knows? This guy 5 years ago started, right? And he was suicidal. And now that's like the last thing on his mind.
Yeah.
That alone is just kind of like, man, there's like, I want to patron this scene. Like, and I'll go every chance I get, and I'll go buy a bottle just to keep the, like.
No, I don't want. You're not gonna get permission from watching like that many bottles, man. Yeah.
But I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for these stories, and
so those that are in Korea, this
Saturday,
the 18th at 8:30 at the Seoul Comedy Club, I will be doing my hour set, running it. I'm gonna run it a few more times, but obviously it's a business, so if people don't show up, then I'm probably not gonna do the show, right?
Can you get me on the guest list? Just kidding. I'm going to buy a ticket this time.
No. Yeah. Just buy a bottle.
If I buy a bottle, then I'll get on the guest list.
Yeah.
You should do that. If you guys decide to come on Saturday and agree to buy a bottle.
It's on the ticket page where there's bottle features. If you buy a bottle.
That's right. Okay.
Right. So anyway, if you're in Korea, you speak the language Korean, then please come to the show. Information will be on my Instagram as well as the community tab of this page on YouTube.
Yeah, and maybe Top will show up. He actually did say, I don't.
Maybe, who knows? But he
did say he wanted to see a show eventually.
Yes. So maybe he'll show up, maybe he'll not. Who knows? There might be more interesting people that are opening for me.
Yeah.
Donga is hosting,
nice.
And Minsu from Pishik is my opener.
Nice. Okay.
So
can't wait.
Hopefully there's going to be some interesting people in the audience, and hopefully everyone's going to have a good time. Hopefully I don't stink.
Next week I'm taking work off. So I want to try to do a show next week, but maybe not at the studio. I want to get a little bit more creative. Right. Go to you. Maybe do it at the club.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks. Peace.